GOML, week 2. Ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, but Mom, I know you watch these videos too, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the week 2 GOML Fantasy Football League preview show. Thursday night football is upon us. We are a mere moments away from kickoff in Lambeau, not once, but twice, because somehow they got 2 home games in a row to start off the season. But they are on a short week, so we will see how that goes. I'm your commissioner, Garrett, and I have officially come with my red pen for the commies, my green pen for the Fudge Packers. I hope they both lose somehow. Although that cannot actually happen, I have my beer to help me get through in my fancy GOML glass. Cheers to all of you out there. And in case anybody was wondering, a visual reminder for what we're all fighting for. The trophy will be present for the majority of all future videos. And it just felt good, now that I got a win under my belt. I can look at it now and, it's in my house and, feels really attainable. So we're happy about that. But to kick off this show, we are going to start again with the Thursday night preview. And for our fantasy football league specifically, we have 4 Thursday night players in action: Terry McLaurin, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, and a bold play by the Uncle Archie, Packers defense. Could be bold, could be, could be a high-flying affair. We shall see. This video may not age well because he could change it between now and then. So we don't really know yet, but as it sits right now, seems to be an interesting play. Now, as you can see to my right, we do have a secret guest for this upcoming preview show. But we'll dial back to last week when we had the big cat on here, and he did go a strikingly 4-1 in his predictions. The only team that let him down was Matty Sins, coming out with the highest scoring performance of the week, thwarting off the America's team, Archie. So pretty good insight from Mr. Griffith. He pretty much stayed chalk based on the ESPN projections, but we're not going to hate on him for that. And as I mentioned, Sins was the top scorer. Kent was just a few points behind. Staley was number 3. So gold, silver, and bronze there. Everybody should be shooting for those 120s, 130s. And man, those guys just absolutely killed it. So without any further ado, I will go into the preview for this week, featuring our game of the week and our special guest behind the football curtain, Rito Larcino!
How we doing? Glad to be here.
Hey man, we're doing good. We're happy you could join us from all the way up in the Shire. You, the Larcino men, have had a recent name change, and you're our featured game of the week this week. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I gotta obviously address the name change. I wanted to go Larcino men. That was my original name. I felt our league was more of a, team name, not really name your team after a player. So just seeing the trends, I wanted to go back to where the roots lie, and Larcino men came back. So I wanted to represent the Larcino man myself. I left my picture of Travion Henderson, though, because that's my guy. That's going to be my focal point of my team. So that was the reason for the change.
A bold pick, 4th round, I believe, correct?
It was my 4th round pick, yes. One of the more bolder picks of our draft. I got a lot of slack for that.
Yeah, I would say it's Mr. Henderson and then Steelers D in the 6th round coming.
Yeah, Steelers D, which, sorry, Rock Dog, that doesn't look too nice right now after week 1. But again, we still got a long ways to go.
Awesome. Well, we are going to break down every game for you from right here at the GOML headquarters with our pipeline to the northeast. But before we go into each individual game, I will say that these, last week's games were electric, to say the least. it was a pretty narrow point margin as far as projections go before the week started. For the most part, it stayed that way up until Sunday night, and Monday night just threw everything for a loop. And boy, do we have to talk about the Mouse Cop absolutely falling in unbelievable fashion. I mean, all the King's men had to show up to win this battle.
I couldn't say it better myself, G. Again, I think Cop had it in the bag. It was one of those going into Sunday night, this in the first half. I mean, it seemed Cop had a rap on it, but Zay Flowers coming out of nowhere. The second half that he did, I mean, that all the Kings men, tip your hat, Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
What a game, and what a finish to the week, really. I mean, Cop had it wrapped. Justin Fields' performance just shocking everybody. I mean, I can't say that enough. I'm shocked. Like, I thought that pick was underwhelming to say the least from head, and got good results from the rest of this team, other than the wide receiving core kind of let him down along with Mark Andrews. But again, Zay Flowers coming in and having good games from Jaden Daniels and James Cook, and that wrapped it up for King James. So
yeah,
what a game.
To put a bow on that, it needed to fall exactly the way it did. He needed career, stellar performances from Cook and Flowers, and he absolutely had to go back to Mark Andrews of last year in the divisional round where he dropped the bag, if you will.
I mean,
so
it's unbelievable, G. It's like, and not to interrupt you or anything, but this Ravens team, I mean, we can talk about it later. What a bunch of jokers. I know Zay Flowers had the game to the second half to have, but someone else also had something to say about that, and we'll talk about that as we get into this. But
I think you're leading us in the right direction because we only have one more big game of the week to discuss before we move into our previews. And unfortunately for you, our special guest of the week, it was between you and Mr. Staley Cowboy Cavey, Josh Allen putting on the cape. I mean, good day. Took the glasses off, exited the phone booth, and bam, Superman has arrived.
I knew it was going to be the killer in our matchup. It ended up being that way, but the way he smoked it in that second half, like Zay Flowers, I mean, unbelievable. He led his team to victory when they were down 15. I mean, can't say enough about that. And again, he's the quarterback I want Drake May to be. He's going to be. He's starting to become the face of the league, and I know it's only week one, but the guy put on a clinic, and I had the matchup going into that second half. I felt pretty good about myself, and then Josh Allen does what he does, and call him Superman. I'm with you there. So that's understandably he waited till the last moment because in the end he didn't need to worry about T.J. Hawkinson taking a big dumper on Monday Night Football, and that whole Vikings offense up until the fourth quarter doing absolutely nothing. You didn't have to worry about that. So.
Yeah, two wild performances to week one. And, that leads us into you live to fight another day, right? So we'll start off with our game of the week, Cop versus Reed. What's the breakdown? What's the choice? Also, real quick, you're going to try and beat Kent's 4-1 record. So you got to come clean slate. Come Tuesday morning, we got to get a 5-0 from you, Rito.
Yeah, no, it's not a great start for me. Honestly, I needed that game against Staley. And looking at the projections right now, they like Cobb. And for me, again, I honestly do like Cobb's team against mine. The quarterback though is going to be the key in this matchup. I'm looking at Justin Fields. Can he replicate what he did in week one? And I can't bring myself to say yes. I just think that was a one-off. He's going into a divisional opponent against Buffalo. I think he's due for a letdown. I like Baker in Houston. He's just been slinging it. He's got a great receiving core. One of my dark horse players, my sleeper players that I'm really high on right now, Emeka Mbuka. I mean, I made fun of Staley for making that pick. I don't know what round that was, but I think he's going to be a key for Baker Mayfield to keep going. I like myself in this matchup, but again, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm already behind on the projections, but I think the projections are on this one.
That's awesome. Nothing would make me happier than Cop with an 0-2 start. So I am going to check you off for a win as well, Uncle Rito. I agree with you. Justin Fields coming back to earth, and Baker and the boys just laying them out there, just biscuits, tutties, you name it.
And one thing here too to take note: Cobb has Kyle Pitts starting as he's getting a little desperate at that position. He's hoping that he hits a little bottle of lightning, whatever you call that.
The Florida days.
He's looking for something there. I think he's getting desperate. So
yeah.
I like my matchup there. I think Hawkinson bounces back, hopefully.
He needs Florida Gator Pitts to show up. That's for damn sure. And another interesting nugget. This is why we put in the hours. This is why we grind. This is why we check the waiver wire. This is why we study our draft notes and keep up with the league, because what happened last Sunday and Monday night and upcoming this Monday night, 2 Monday night games, and you and Kopp both have Monday players. I believe he has Nico Collins and Kaimi Fairbairn versus Baker and the boys. So, I mean, it could be, again, 30-point margin that could get covered there. I mean, you never know what a quarterback can do in prime time. So that one should keep coming down to the wire. I know Kopp will be biting his nails to see if Nico Collins can even touch the ball in the second week of the season. On to the next. G versus... Oh, go. What you got?
Well, I was just going to say, I think, the Nico Collins thing is going to be key for him because he's got to bounce back. That whole Houston team's got to bounce back. So that's going to be key. I need Puka to continue. And A.J. Brown, he's got to show up. A lot of people are blaming him for that. He got one target that whole game, and it was the completion to end the game. I hope to see him bounce back, but I think week 1 for the Eagles revealed a lot. Kellen Moore really had a balanced attack on that offense last year. I think it's what led them to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was able to throw the ball effectively downfield and run the ball. Week 1 just felt like he was a glorified running back, and that worries a fantasy owner like myself with A.J. Brown. So I'm hoping, but I'm not going to be exact with that pick. So we're going to give A.J. Brown one more week here, and we'll see how it goes. So
could not agree more with that analysis. I might even clip that statement right there just so I can have it and hear it at night. I love that. Joe Kirk versus Big Football Guy, or No Touchdowns Guy, or The Prophecy. Whomever Benny Boo Boo is this week or next week, what do we got?
I mean, first, the guy with the names. Stick with something. He's getting on us about our football names, yet he can't decide on one. And anyone who has a profile picture of Carl Anthony Towns is automatically going to lose. So that's just where I'm at with that. But no, again, another close matchup in this one. It's actually projection-wise, 110 to 109. I believe it or not, I like Ben's options here because I think the Cowboys are going to have a bounce back game. I think Dak's due for a good game against the Giants. I think the Giants are hot garbage. I think they were a little bit of a fugazi. I think Dak and CeeDee Lamb are due for a big game here. I know CeeDee Lamb's coming off of a pretty nice game, but had some key drops, so I think he's going to be motivated to have a good game. But I got to take G here again. I just said,
love that.
I'm going to take G here. I just think you have a more balanced team. Bijan Robinson, one of my locks, which we can get into later for the week. I just think Minnesota's going to be honing in on Michael Penix and blitzing the crap out of him. I think the running game's going to be key in that, and then Bijan Robinson's just going to be hard to stop him. Overall, the Niners against the Saints, there's easy points right there. And like I said, for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, I think George Pickens has a big day too. So I'm taking G, the junk hauler. That's
awesome. We would love to haul away a couple of George Pickens tutties and get him the points instead of Mr. Sedarius Lamb. Next up on the list, Rock versus King. But I did fail to mention earlier, all of these matchups, as Reed has pointed out, the ESPN projections, the highest margin, the widest margin on any of these projections is only 6.3 points. So every game is tight up until kickoff. So we'll see how the ball bounces. But next up, Rock versus King.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Rock is only up 2 points here, but that feels like a wide margin on a lot of these projections. Like these are tight matchups this week. Rock's coming off a hard and a tough week, especially with how his Steelers. I'm curious to see if he sticks with the Steelers. I think his Steelers are due for a bounce back, though. I think Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. Sam Darnold's magic last year, I think, had a lot to do with Kevin O'Connell. I think he's just a genius head coach. I'd take him on the Patriots at any point. I like Rock Dog in this matchup. I think Joe Burrow against that Jacksonville defense.
Huge bounce back opportunity. Huge bounce back.
I think that whole offense, I should say, is due for a huge bounce back. And I really like T. Higgins in that matchup too. I think Jacksonville will key in on Jamar Chase being the best player in the league, or co-best player in the league, along with Robinson. I think Higgins is due for a game. And I honestly do like that Marvin Harrison Jr. in the flex, especially against Carolina, who a lot of people thought might have been a dark horse this year.
Yeah, can't stop a nosebleed though.
They stunk it up on last Sunday. So I like Rock Dog. I think it'll be a closer game than the projections say, though. I like all of these. I'm taking Rock Dog, though, believe it or not.
Rock Dog to get his first win. Heard it here first from the Larcino men. I'll double down on that as well. King, love you. Miraculous finish to week 1. But let's try and level out here and maybe see if Miami, if they shit the bed again, you could be in some trouble. Rock Dog always finds a way to middle around 500 or take his way to the playoffs. So we'll see him get his first win here. And our 4th game of the week between 2 of the top 3 scorers, Matty Sins and Mr. Staley Cavey.
Again, another...
Could be a bloodbath, Reed. Could be an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, too, because you have 2 of the elite fantasy quarterbacks in this matchup. You have Lamar Jackson, you have Josh Allen. I mean, it's a repeat of last week and this time being a fantasy matchup. I really like Staley here. I love his team. Now seeing it firsthand week 1. If Josh Allen has half the week he did last week, I still think he comes away with it. Now again, I think Jamar Chase is most likely, and again, I'm probably going to be wrong on this, but he's going to draw a lot of attention in Jacksonville. That might be another little stinker for him. We'll see. But I think Brian Thomas is due for a bounce back game. He carried one in the end zone for week 1, but not much else to hear from him. I think he's due for a bounce back. And I mentioned him before. In Mecca Mbuka, I can't even say his name. I think he's a stud. I was pleasantly surprised, especially the way I made fun of Staley in that pick. I think that player and the Broncos D, you can't go wrong, especially against Indian and Mr. Danny Dimes. Oh man, that might be a bloodbath right there. So I'm taking Staley. I think that's he's not projected, or no, he is projected actually. It's just I'm looking at the check marks right now. Matty Sins has most of the check marks in that matchup, but I like Staley in this one.
Okay, all right, put it in the book, Staley, who is, you're totally right. I was watching his draft strategy featuring 3 rookies, Tyler Warren, Emeka Egbuka, and Omarion Hampton. We'll see if maybe he can get in the end zone this Monday and really take off against the Raiders. I don't even know how to pick that game. It's just, they got a lot of points out there. I mean, anybody could drop a dud at any time, but Sins and Staley, that should be nothing but fireworks. Love both their teams. Kent and Archie. Mr. Kent Griffith has been on the most highest of high horses, Reed. I think he's more of a Trojan horse myself, but Archie is dealing with some injury troubles and has made a couple of moves on the waiver wire, made a couple of moves on his starting lineup. Kyler's in, Mahomes is out, Javante's in, obviously Hollywood, Xavier Worthy is out due to the shoulder. Mr. Swift ripped it off his body. And what do we got with that matchup? Is the big cat gonna turn into the little kitty?
I want to say yes, but no. I can't. I'm as shocked as you. Kent has seemed to find himself as a savant when it comes to fantasy football.
Kent savant of fantasy football. No one has ever said or thought those words until now.
That's why I'm saying it. It's crazy. It's crazy talk to begin with, but I do like Ken in this matchup. I was trying to find. I like what Archie did with some of his pickups, though. Like Kyler Murray's a good fill-in for him in in this scenario, especially against Carolina. And one of my sleepers for this week is Justin Herbert. And I think Ken should start him, to be honest with you, because the Madison beer effect has taken hold. I mean, the guy looks like an absolute stud now after being questioned all off season after that playoff performance. That week one there's more to come with that. That's one of my sleepers. I would start Justin Herbert. The rest of this team, though, I mean, again, I think CMC is due for a good game, especially against the Saints. I think they're going to run the ball with freaking Mac P. Shooter Jones. I think they're going to pound that ball. I think McCaffrey's going to be due for some points.
They've got no other weapons.
Derrick Henry, how can you go wrong with that? And I love Smith and Jigba. I mean, he's just become a very, very reliable receiver there in Seattle, and really one of Sam Darnold's only targets. Really, I think he's an absolute stud. And honestly, I like the Vikings defense in that Sunday night game. I think they're gonna get after Penix. I think they're probably gonna confuse them. Brian Flores is one of the more better minds in the game when it comes to creating pressure and getting to the quarterback. So I really like Ken. It pains me to say it, but I love Ken in that match.
Well, somebody has to win, but I tend to agree with you. Archie's just dealing with too many injuries right now, and Griffey's got a good team. Got to hand it to him. I'm not going to quite call him a savant, but I would say that he's got a pretty darn good squad. You have any sleepers or locks for the week?
Yeah, so I kind of selected per the important positions, and we discussed a little bit of them. My sleepers for the week, I get Justin Herbert. I think if you're Ken, I would start him. Now, Ken, it's your team. I just think throwing, running, the combination he showed on last Saturday or Friday night, on the YouTube TV or the YouTube channel game, he looked great. I would start Herbert in that matchup against the Raiders. I think he's being a divisional game. I think that the Chargers have had the better of the Raiders. I could have that wrong. I'd go Herbert.
I think most people have had the better of the Raiders in the last 20 years.
That's a good point. And I know those Raiders beat my Patriots. I think they're a bit overrated. I think my Patriots are just still trying to find their way. So I like Herbert in that matchup. And just one more sleeper for you. I love Breece Hall this week against the Bills because I think, again, with Justin Fields, I think they're going to key in on him. I think that running game is going to be important in the way he showed out in week one. I think he's due for a big season here. So those are my two sleepers.
Awesome. I think Breece Hall's a huge pick, actually, because I was watching that game, and I could have driven my freaking dump truck through those holes, dude. The Bills' run defense was not up to snuff. Derrick Henry was not touched until a safety hit him. So that about wraps it up for us this week on the GOML preview show. Rito Larcino, thank you for joining us. I hope you're enjoying it up there. Hope it's not too cold yet. Anybody out there listening, watching, my weekend is open for October 4th. Reed will be here. A little post-draft party makeup football session, if you will. And doors open. Come on down. Friends, family, football. Can't say anything else except remember to get on my level. With that, enjoy Thursday Night Football. Enjoy the Sunday window and the 2 Monday Night Football games. Rito, thanks for joining.
Thank you.